Hi everybody, Joshua here with the Heavy Piano YouTube channel. This is a piano tutorial for The District Sleeps Alone Tonight by the Postal Service. Very well-known song. I'm sure there are tons and tons of how-to piano tutorial videos for this song, so I'm just going to kind of lightly touch on chords and melody and just kind of give you just a little bit of behind the scenes or what goes through my head when I'm trying to create one of these improvised arrangements, and maybe some of the voicings, some of the things I'm thinking about. So I guess I'm making this video with the understanding in that there's a lot of this information already out there, and I would encourage you to find those videos as well, but just kind of use this as a supplement to the information that's already there. So hopefully I'm not adding to the noise on the internet, right? So anyway, let's get right into it. So we have these three chords at the top, right? C major, D minor, A minor. Okay, all white notes. Pretty easy to figure that out. I'm kind of voicing them like this, and I think the first time I did like a upper note, C up here, and D minor, voicing like that, and then the second time I played the chords again, I just kind of played pretty simple voicings and kind of keeping my right hand in that section for the second time through those three chords. So again, first time through, I kind of brought out the top note, and then I kind of brought things together, right? So the first time it's a spread out, and then I kind of bring it back in and contract it a little bit. And then we have our melody. Excuse me, so it's if I can get it right. There's a voicing there, I'm just adding the seventh into the minor, A minor. So then we have our first chorus, and it's F, C, G. And if you want to think of it as like F, C, and like a G over B, sometimes you can play the G, just the G chord. So I'll start to add a little bit of rhythm here. I'm just kind of taking my chords and then creating rhythms inside those chords. Kind of alternating left, right, left, right. So that time I went to more just the G in the bass. So some options there, the things I'm doing, kind of stretching out, bringing out, kind of adding some energy by moving out of this main octave, just going a little bit higher. But again, we're developing the song, or I am developing the song, and then we're trying to build from our introduction. One of the things I did sometimes, I'm not sure if I did it in the version I shared, take these four notes, thumb comes under, you might find maybe a little bit better fingerings, but just, it's harder for me to get it smooth on my keyboard. But on my acoustic piano, I was trying to mimic some of those synth sounds that go on in the background. So you can see some of the rhythms I'm doing, but again, it's just over these three chords that are used for the verse, the C, D minor, A minor. So play around with that a little bit. I have a bigger stretch in my left hand. You could just do octaves or fifths. But the big thing I'm doing is trying to add some rhythm in there and let it breathe and kind of ebb and flow. right, so every statement has an energy that kind of goes up, and you can bring it back down. Just an idea of one way to kind of interpret it. So let's see, we have our second chorus, that F, C, G. So now I want to talk about this bridge a little bit coming out of that second chorus. It's like in the bass there's a G over, so it's C over G. It kind of goes to C, root position, D minor, and then the DC Sleeps Alone Tonight, A minor. So then it goes back to C. So it's like a C over G, C, D minor, G, then we have the line DC Sleeps Alone Tonight, A minor. Then we come back into like a solo thing. So more or less, those are the chords and melody. Now what I want to do is play some of the things that I play when I play it, and then maybe stop and talk about it. So again, I'm thinking, I start it kind of slowly, right? It's pretty subdued. And then the next time through the chords, I'm changing a little bit. Now every piano is going to talk to you a little bit differently in the way the music comes out of it. So then, I'm creating some of these like notes, these crushed notes in there, and they want to resolve, right? So hey, coming from this, that's like, it's kind of like some dissonance, and then it resolves. But again, none of the dissonance is really sharp, or not sharp in terms of sharp or flat, but just like as far as like a harsh dissonance. But more is just like there's all these notes crushed together, and then I kind of let them, I let them clear up a little bit when I bring the verse melody back in, if that makes sense. So there, I'm bringing more motion, right? So the first time I bring that verse in, so it's like kind of like chord, chord, chord. So this time I'm going to roll my notes a little bit and create a little more motion. Have my chorus. Right, so I'm just taking the chords and adding movement and motion just to kind of like get us moving towards a point, right? So, coming to the second verse, I might add some more notes in there. Always kind of thinking about where I'm going next. So I kind of know, I always say this in my tutorial videos, but it really helps me to sing the lyrics in my head. So I kind of know where I'm going emotion-wise and energy-wise. So I'm doing a lot of syncopation there. Let me see if I can slow that down. It's almost like a 4 against 3 or 3 against 4 thing. So my left hand's kind of keeping an even pace. So really, I'm thinking less about the notes in between and more about the big beats, right? I'm kind of thinking about those, and when I want to land on those, I'm not quite as worried about what happens in between the big beats, if that makes sense. So in that way, I can kind of create like rhythmic texture. Even like ba da 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 dum bum, here's my downbeat. So even though I was maybe more ambiguous or stretching and pulling and playing with the rhythm a little bit, when I come to the downbeat, I really know where I am. So when I repeat that last time, why I was the one who was leaving, at least repeating it in my head, I'm kind of like drawing back a little bit. And the first statement, and I know this maybe doesn't come across in my music, but at least it's kind of what I'm thinking of. Like the first statement is very strong, and the next time, and here's our bridge. Adding some of that. Again, I'm over these chords: C, D minor, A minor. And by keeping my right hand around here, it's a D minor, like with the G added in there. You could say a fourth or something. And then, that G becomes the seventh of the minor chord. So from there, I'm just kind of building and playing with it, adding more notes, playing around with the chords. Again, kind of taking those four notes and kind of rolling through them back and forth. I think you'll see me do a lot of these kind of techniques when I'm improvising. Just playing around with the chords, trying to add some rhythm and movement in the chords. And then, taking these various techniques of building and contracting, expanding, contracting would be a better way to say it, and then thinking about where that lines up with the emotion and energy of the song. So that time, F, and then a C over E, G over D. So then I have a descending bass line there, kind of keeping my notes close together. And that has a different emotional impact than... Oh, excuse me, I didn't mean to do that. But again, playing around with it, and this is pretty forgiving because it's all in the key of C, so you can mess around with your white notes a lot on the keyboard. So I hope that's some helpful pointers, maybe kind of some insight into the things I'm thinking about. This was a patron request, and it's a song I've listened to for years and never really took the time to sit down at the piano. And, if I had a different piano, I'd probably come up with different notes and different movement, different kind of sounds out of the piano. So a lot of that arrangement, they're always improvised, came from just like my little Baldwin upright. So it was a fun song to look through and kind of figure out. I try not to get too bogged down in chords and melody. There's plenty of videos of people just playing the song pretty straight on the piano if you want to just learn just the notes. And for me, it's more just kind of like, okay, how do I capture the energy and emotion of the song? Or how I just sit down and create something, and it's something that exists in that moment, and then it's done. But I've captured it and kind of share it with people. So I don't know if it always works, but this is kind of my method for making music and making these videos for the channel. But I want to say a big thank you to my patrons on Patreon. throwing a few bucks in every month is really helpful for encouraging me to make some videos on this channel and just kind of pay for some of the production costs and things like that. So, big thank you everybody there. And any questions or comments, leave them below and I'll try to get back to you. If not, I will catch you next time. Take care.